Welcome into the Third and Thirsty podcast, your one pot stop for Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Kansas City referee, and Taylor Swift free. AFC West banter. I'm Alex Bell, fan of the Denver Broncos. We're now 12-3. Still first place in the AFC West, still first place in the AFC. To my left, Omar Rubio, fan of the Chargers, who are now 11-4. We got it right this time. And then Edgar Larios to my right, fan of the Raiders. They did end up losing that game against the Texans, so they are now 12-13.
Yes.
Or 2-13, 12-13.
Oh, 12. Yeah.
The NBA.
Yeah.
Sorry.
2-13.
I didn't even catch that either, but yeah, we're only 2 wins. Don't get me too excited with 12 wins.
Yeah, last place in the AFC and looking to improve their draft stock again this weekend. So let's get into week 16. Broncos lost, Cowboys lost to the Chargers, and then the Raiders
Just lost.
found a way to actually keep the game competitive against the Texans, which was shocking. But still got that loss.
Gave me hope because that loss would have helped the Chargers out by clinching a playoff spot.
I was going to say, there was a couple teams that needed the Texans to lose to help them,
But as it looks, I think the Colts are going to lose this game. We are recording we're live on Monday,
Right.
So that still gets the Chargers in. And I think they're going to be clinching a playoff spot now. Division's still in play, though.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. But let's get into the Cowboys and the Chargers game. What you liked about that one?
The offense got going. That was my favorite thing about that. Justin Herbert looks like he's, like I said, getting healthier by the week. Still a couple plays there where you could see him wincing in pain, but for the most part, the pocket stayed pretty clean. The offensive coordinator finally did some offensive coordinating and started mixing in different plays, short passes, got some of his receivers in motion pre-snap to get them a little bit better release off the line. So I love that. Omarion Hampton looked great, even though I think he should have gotten more touches, even though a lot of his runs were tough runs and he was getting banged up a lot, but still I think he was averaging about 5 yards a carry. I think he went like 15 carries for around 85 yards, somewhere in there, with a touchdown. So he wasn't listening, and he didn't try to get my bold prediction to stick there with over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So we got to get him to listen, apparently.
What was your bold prediction? You got to remind me. What was that?
I think it was Hampton going over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, so that didn't hit, but still had a good game. A lot of positive that came out of it. Unfortunately, Kamani Vidal came up hurt in this game. Doesn't seem like it's going to be anything serious. Might be out for a week or so. But that's still a big hit just because Omarion Hampton can't get all those touches, all those reps back there. He's going to need some time to rest up here and there. But on defense, they did their thing again. They held the number one, I think it's their number one offense, into the teens. Like I said, getting out of the teens would have been plenty for the Chargers. But they got more than out of the teens. They got into the 30s.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah. So, but the defense, the first half wasn't great. First couple drives wasn't great. So going into the second half with a tight game there, they made they made the adjustments that they needed to make. Unfortunately, the one that didn't was Cam Hart. I mean, I've been pretty high on him most of this season, but it seems like teams are starting to target him. He's the one that's getting picked on out of all the DBs out here. He's the one that gave up all the big plays to George Pickens, which sucks because I'm not a fan of George Pickens. But at the end of the day, they did enough to keep them in the teens, especially the second half. Like I said, they really got after those receivers, didn't let them get comfortable. And then the pass rush started to pick up in the second half. They didn't get the sack numbers that they usually have been getting the past couple weeks, but the pressures were there. Pressures were there up the middle. The run defense was stingy. They did give up some yardage on the ground, but for the most part, I think they held their own. against a pretty good offensive line. I would say. I think the Cowboys have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. So to be able to do that against them, I think that bodes well for the run defense, which had been a little bit worrisome. Not really giving up like huge plays, but just giving up yardage, which like easier yardage. Sometimes where you think that they would get him down at the line of scrimmage, he was still the other opposing running backs were still getting a couple yards out of it. So, that was really, really positive note for me. What about you guys? You guys see anything that stood out, or Alex, that you didn't like leading up to the Chargers versus the Broncos game in a couple weeks?
Not really. I mean, the Chargers are the same team that I thought they were. Good defense and offense that could kind of put it together every once in a while, especially when they play a bad defense. Our stream is really shitty right now, so I'm trying to get that fixed. Being the producer and host at the same time is kind of tough. But looking at this, or looking at the Chargers, I mean, Herbert had a great game, albeit against the Cowboys, who have a garbage defense, especially without Quinnen Williams in there. Makes a big difference. So overall, not impressed with the Chargers, but they did look good. But it wasn't anything that surprised me. Just another Chargers game, the way they've been playing this year.
No, yeah, for me, like I said, I've been saying this the last couple of weeks. Your defense has to be stepping up these next couple of weeks or these upcoming games, and so far they have. Versus the Cowboys, I thought that was going to be a big test because obviously George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. But even though they did get a couple catches, your offense was never like, your offense was still making plays. It kind of looks like, we said it earlier, kind of looked like the Cowboys were missing a pass rusher. Herbert did look a little too comfortable back there, but, we saw it in the weeks before, like Herbert has been, getting rushed, getting hurt, all that stuff. So, I mean, Cowboys, you guys don't, what you guys are missing. I know a lot of injuries, but, look at the Chargers.
Injuries, on the other side, that made it easier for them to get that pass.
Yeah, so in the end of the day, I can kind of see a pretty fair game on both sides, both teams having injuries, but as we can see that the Chargers offense was just a lot better than the Cowboys defense, but good teams beat bad teams. So you guys were, clearly 11-4. So yeah, it's an easy win. Since you guys are 4 games in a row?
Yeah.
So yeah, and more motivation. So I mean, if you guys keep it up, we'll see how far you guys can get.
Yeah, that's 4 in a row. I think like 7 out of 8. And out of those 8 games, I think they've only given them 20 points or more than 20 points one time against the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
So every other game that's been 20 points or less, only one other team has scored 20. Everything else has been in the teens. So that defense is quietly becoming one of the better,
yeah, it's staying pretty solid. But for me, the only thing is just playing a whole team, because once we get to the playoffs, you're playing your team that isn't just has one side that's good. It's both sides are solid. So it's going to be a big test for both teams, basically.
Our stream is really shitty here, guys. I think I know why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this stream, and we're just going to have to go back and edit it on the, so Broncos Jaguars.
Broncos lost.
Broncos lost. It's tough coming on this podcast after 3 months of winning and having to admit defeat. So let's go.
How's it hard, bro?
Is it harder just because you're kind of looking over your shoulder now, and there's somebody just sticking around, not being able to get rid of them yet?
No, I'm not worried about that. But
what's hard is coming in every single time when your team is just embarrassing you. That's hard.
Yeah, I've been used to a life of luxury these last 3 months, man. So
I can imagine this. I can't imagine that, to be honest.
So, yeah. So the Broncos, Jaguars, again, feel a lot better than I did yesterday after sleeping on it a little bit. It just looked like the Broncos just weren't ready to play that game. Now looking back at it, it's just like is it just coping, or am I just happy they got a loss out of the way? I'm not sure. I think it's coping. It's definitely coping pretty hard. But, watching that game yesterday, the Jaguars had a lot to play for. They wanted to prove that they were legit, blah, blah, blah. The Broncos, it felt like they knew if they lost, they were still going to be the 1 seed and still in control of their destiny. And it was just one of those games where we grew up playing sports, and we all have one of those where, like, you go in, you feel confident, your team, is better than the other team, but then things just aren't going right. And they continue to not go right all game. And then you look up and the game's gotten away from you, and you're already starting to think like, oh, shit, we're on to the next week or whatever, That's what that game felt like for the Broncos. Just no fire, missed tackles, penalties again, biting them in the ass. Shout out to the refs. Obviously, the Broncos don't lose that game because of the refs, but a lot of ticky-tack bullshit calls that they've been going against the Broncos all season, getting tired of it. But
starting to sound like a Chiefs fan.
Chiefs fans complaining about the refs?
This year, yes. All year they.
Yeah, well, sure, yeah, this year, I guess. But again, the Broncos didn't lose because of the refs. But there were some really questionable calls, and they all went one way. Just like the entire season with the Broncos. But, back to the game. Outside of just the refs. The Broncos on defense really prided themselves all season in situational defense. Third down, red zone. They were terrible on both yesterday against the Jaguars. I talk about the red zone a lot. The Jags were 4 or 5 in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Broncos never give up 80%. And then third down, I don't even know what the numbers were, but it just seemed like even on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, I was never confident that the Broncos were going to get off the field. They had a really hard time containing Trevor Lawrence getting in and out of the pocket. And that's kind of been a recurring theme. Even when the Broncos defense was playing really well, they've had trouble with athletic quarterbacks like that and containing them and keeping them from breaking the pocket. So it's something definitely that's concerning going forward. The defense hasn't played as well since the bye, and they're now giving up 25 points a game. Now, they played some pretty decent offenses, but still no excuse.
Yeah, that's concerning though. Coming off a bye, that's usually when you tweak things, fine tune things, and get yourself ready for the rest of the season. What your overview of what you think is going to be on defense, for it to be going the opposite way of what you would hope that's got to be the concerning part.
Yeah, well, I mean, defense is usually starting to slow down at the end of the season, depending on the team. The Broncos' defense did slow down last year as well, so that's concerning. The last 3 or 4 games last year, they gave up quite a bit of points, and then obviously got ransacked by the Bills in the playoffs. So, wouldn't say I'm panic button concerned, but definitely something to keep an eye on. This game this week against a really shitty Chiefs team with their third-string quarterback kind of feels like a get-right game, even though it's a Thursday night game. A lot of weird things can happen in Thursday night games, especially divisional games. So, on the road, won't be easy, but
it's a divisional game.
Yeah.
It's a divisional game. It's always different. Gosh.
So defense definitely needs to get right. The offense actually was moving the ball pretty well. They just weren't able to close out either. When it came to scoring in the red zone, they weren't able to do it. Picking up third downs, they weren't able to do it. But they were able to move the ball. Bo ended up throwing for like 350 yards. So it's nice now looking at Bo when he's having, quote-unquote, a bad game, because he didn't play as good as he did the last couple of weeks. He still puts up 350 yards. So,
but all those attempts, he gets a lot of attempts, which
I think he was 28 of 47 or something like that. So, a bad game. That's not something you really want to see.
Yeah.
You want to see his completion percentage get up there a little bit.
I know the type of game that it turned out to be was more of a high-scoring game, but seeing that they're just more turning into more of a passing offense and kind of not paying as much attention to the run. I mean, they have to just because of what the cards have been dealt with their running backs, but that's still got to be a little bit concerning to turn yourself into a one-dimensional team going into the playoffs.
Yeah, they definitely need to become more balanced. RJ ran the ball okay yesterday. He had that one big run that kind of skewed his stats, but Jaleel was running the ball really well. I think I shared with you guys, I'm going to buy tickets to the Super Bowl ticket on Underdog yesterday. One of them was bumping Jalil's numbers all the way up to 40 yards. His over was like 9.5, as he just hasn't been touching it. And then he touches the ball 2 times in that second drive and gets all the way up to 25 yards. And I'm like, shit, he's going to have a huge game. And I think he ended up with like 34 yards or something. So I'd like to see him get the ball a little bit more often. He only ended up with maybe 5 carries or something. So like to see him get the ball a little bit more and have RJ still there as a receiving threat, because that's where he's really been shining, really opening up the offense that way. So a lot of bad things that we saw yesterday, a lot of things that need to be worked on, but definitely could look at that and say that's a game that could humble the Broncos and maybe realize their shit don't stink and that they need to keep their shit together and play up to their opponents. The Jaguars are a good team.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not a good team, but the Broncos are better. I'm very confident that the Broncos are a better football team. The Jaguars came in and played their best football. The Broncos came in and played arguably one of their worst games of the season. And, you saw the results.
And that's weird that happened at home. Right? You guys, the game was in
That was the first time
Denver?
the Broncos had lost a home game since October of last year. So, yeah, they've been really good at home. They just dropped one. They just weren't ready for the game. They weren't ready for the competition. Jags are a good team.
Man, I think Jags swept the
They
AFC
did.
West.
Basically.
They own the division.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I remember when the Raiders lost to them by like 3 points, and then I was like just curious. I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be a good game versus Chargers, and when obviously when they just
Yeah, they won the Chargers.
yeah, I was like, I remember saying, Jaguars are a good team, and Alex is like, well, he's like, they're nothing, this and that, whatever. I'm just like, all right. I'm like, and I even asked him, like, are you guys playing the Jags? You're like, I could have swore you saying no, but I don't know. That must have heard something else.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You put words in my mouth.
But
I knew the Broncos were playing the Jags all season.
But I sort of got like, yeah, knowing like coming into this game, honestly, like I felt like it was gonna be whoever can play the cleanest game. I was kind of worried with the Broncos because of the running game, but even the Jaguars with ETN, he really didn't do much. He probably had like 38, maybe 50 yards. I mean, Broncos running backs got pretty much the same thing. So it was pretty much the way I see it is that with that, I mean, it wasn't just an interception, but Broncos didn't really play the cleanest game on the offense, but Trevor Lawrence was having such a good game. 3 touchdowns. I kind of kicked myself for, trading him on my fantasy, but, in the end of the day, it is what it is. That's the one. But yeah, it was still a good game. Trevor Lawrence definitely was being mobile, like just running away from that defensive line. He was making some incredible throws. I don't remember his name, but last name Washington. He had like 148 yards. I was like, dude, I was just like, what's going on? I thought secondary was supposed to be shut down. But hey, we all have not the Raiders, they have it all the time, but some teams have bad games, so
Look, you can't win every game.
Yeah.
And the Broncos proved that yesterday.
But I will say the Jaguars are in a 5-game winning streak?
Yeah, they beat the Chargers, and I don't think they've lost.
They haven't lost since. So I mean, they're in a good winning streak, but sometimes having those big winning streaks, you get that pressure. So let's hope that we'll see where that pressure pops.
Well, tell you what, I'm really looking forward to seeing if the Broncos could get the Jags again in the playoffs.
I can see it happening.
Obviously they're both going to be in the playoffs, but I really hope that they do. Again, I didn't see a team in the Jaguars that are better than the Broncos. I just saw a game where the Broncos just didn't play their best, didn't come prepared. The Jaguars came in there. It was their Super Bowl. Congratulations, Jaguars. You guys won your Super Bowl this year. You've had maybe 5 or 6 good moments in your entire franchise existence. The Broncos have been part of 2 of them now. 96 when you beat them in the divisional, and then 2025 when you beat them in Week 16 to knock the Broncos from first place in the conference back down to first place in the conference. So get over yourselves. I really hope it happens again. Bitch-ass motherfucking...
Someone's coping hard.
I am coping hard, and I'm pissed now. Now that I've been able to focus on the actual podcast instead of the fucking editing side of it right now, Fuck Monteric Brown. That hit on Pat Bryant at the end of the game. Look, you want to call it a football play? I get it, whatever. But if that's the way you want to play football, I think the Broncos are going to play football that next time they play them. So, I'm really looking forward to that game. I really hope they get them together.
I think Alex is just mad at everybody's probably saying Duval.
Yeah, I thought that was funny when Liam Cohen got hired. Now, fuck you, Liam. I don't think it's that funny anymore. Now it's a little fucked up. But yeah, man. And there was like a little weird beef between Bronco fans and Jag fans on Twitter last week, and the Jags ended up getting them. Now I'm pissed off.
Yeah, all of them are saying Duval.
Yeah. So again, the Broncos have been part of like 40% of your franchise's best moments because you've only had 5 of them, never been to a Super Bowl, just a poverty franchise. So enjoy your small little moments. But Broncos will collect Super Bowl rings in the meantime.
If there's any Jags fans out there and you guys lose to the Jags in the playoffs, they're definitely coming after you.
Coming after me?
For saying all the shit.
Yeah. The two of them that the two of them that come across this episode, or a short if I cut it up. Yeah.
To everybody else.
Well, they did. It was kind of funny because
I'm telling my cousin.
The Jaguars' actual Twitter account clipped DMVR talking shit about the Jags and put it on their Twitter. So I guess they're listening. If you guys want more content, I mean, shit, we'll take the pub.
Right.
we could use it. We're up to 90 subscribers, so if you want to help us out, maybe we'll gain a few.
Yeah.
Jag Social, I might be sending this clip out to you guys.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah, man. So that pretty much covers the Broncos Jaguars. Let's see if there was anything else I really wanted to get into. Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, we'll go back to 96. They came in as underdogs, beat the Broncos. But the next year, the Broncos got revenge. And I don't think we're going to have to wait a year this time. I think we get in the playoffs this year. So, Jaguars, fuck you.
I didn't even think those lost this hard. Dang.
Yeah. I wouldn't take it that hard if it just watching them like celebrate at the end of the game, and you could tell like they felt like they won their Super Bowl. Also, one more thing, and that's the national media, who's been shitting on the Broncos all year, saying that they're frauds, that they're not real, blah, blah, blah. And then the Jaguars beat them, and it's like, oh, the Jaguars are contenders now. Watch out for the Jaguars. They're legit. They beat the Broncos. So make up your mind. Are the Broncos frauds, or are they the team to beat? You can't play both, so pick one. Bronco fans know where we're going this year, so fuck you. All right.
Alex is pissed now.
Yeah, I'm so pissed now. I think most of it's because I couldn't get this fucking stream to work. Do we want to talk about the Raiders, Texans?
I mean, honestly, I can make it super quick. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting the game. I basically saw, honestly, the first couple drives was basically what I imagined the whole game was going to be. Gino going 0 for 4 and throwing that pick 6. I was like, yep, knew it. We're going to fucking lose this game.
That's right. That's
34-0 or whatever. But, man, the Raiders kept it competitive. I will admit that CJ Stroud had one of his worst games, but that Raiders defense did not make it easy for him. They didn't really get any sacks. They didn't get any sacks on him, but they were putting pressure. They were stopping the run. I can say that's because of some dumb. I mean, I'm not mad about it, but because of some stupid play penalties, which Alex did say that these penalties are stupid. Those 2 balls were uncatchable. It should have never been a pass interference. But in the end, I'm not going to complain about it. I didn't want them to win personally, but they were super close to beating them and super close to helping a lot of AFC teams clinch a playoff berth. But
they almost played spoiler.
Yeah, but nope.
Not only for the Texans, but also their draft chances.
Yeah.
Keeping them from getting Mendoza.
Hey, last year
knows?
This would have probably gone the other way. they probably would have won this game.
If only they had a better head coach.
If only.
If only they.
If only we would have kept
The
AP.
head coach to lose.
See, this is why I wanted AP for. Fuck.
To win those games.
To win those games that we were
season. Yeah. That's why you got to keep them around. Totally get it.
exactly.
Totally get it.
And plus, it would have been so much cheaper. But shit. Fuck me, right? I'm just a kid from Lompoc that doesn't know shit, apparently.
Well, Genty had a big game, so that's encouraging. Yeah. If you're a
Yeah, he had a really good game. Oh my god, dude! Fucking, he had that 60-yard receiving touchdown when a lot of people were saying that he couldn't catch the ball, and he had that 50-yarder, or was it the other way around? But anyways, there were two big plays, and honestly, against the number one defense, I mean, you couldn't ask more. But he's very quietly having one of the a really good season. With these next two games, he can go over 1,000 yards, and he's already over 10 touchdowns. So, he's a good player. I'm still happy we got him. Obviously, we have to build that offensive line and have a really good offensive coordinator, and obviously we can't forget the quarterback. But I'm excited with the weapons, with Bowers, with him, and even some of the receivers, rookie receivers, were stepping up. Alex Besh, he got a really good 37-yard catch. Caleb Rogers was doing great until he got hurt in the third quarter. So I really like it that he's really stamping his name on that right guard spot. So yeah, I'm like, at this point, I can see the Raiders having some players. So whoever's head coach, if we can get the head coach right, I can see the Raiders having a base to start off. And I wouldn't really necessarily say that would be a year away, but it'll be a good start for whoever comes in.
Yeah, that'll be another conversation. Who do the Raiders hire after they fire Pete Carroll at the end of the season, which seems inevitable at this point? So we'll see. Anything else we want to add to the Texans and the Raiders?
I think the Raiders kind of laid it out on how to beat, or at least best chance at beating the Texans.
I would say that, but honestly, I would go back to CJ Stroud did have a bad game. So if you guys can make disruptive for him, then for sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying even offensively with Genty, getting all those yards, getting all those carries, and really showing out. I mean,
or maybe they just caught him off guard. They were like, dude, it's the Raiders. This offensive line isn't going to be able to do much. But in the end of the day, you can be right.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I think that'll help the Chargers, kind of, start there and build off of that, start with the running game. And hopefully if it worked, because it worked last week versus them, maybe we'll start with that and, just keep it going with the running game.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, we'll get more into that later, but it definitely did show a couple things that better teams can use versus that defense. Because, dude, it was insane just watching. Even like I said, the first couple drives I had already given up on the game, and then just to see Geno literally having a better game, even with that first drives, having a better game than CJ Stroud, I was just like, where the hell was this all season? But obviously, now we have an actual offensive coordinator that knows how to do his job, and yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, our offensive line is it's not healthy, but I mean, this offensive coordinator knows the scheme to do, get the ball out quick and everything. So I wish we would have done this a lot sooner, but hey, I wouldn't even say it's later.
It wouldn't have been any better for you guys.
Oh, of course not. But I mean, at least would have shown us more about our rookies. That's the one thing that really pissed me off about this season, not letting us see more about our rookies when we were clearly already out of the playoffs.
Goes back to coaching. Yeah. Pete Carroll, bum. Okay. Anything else?
No.
You guys want to talk about, for the Broncos and the Chargers, we're going to talk a little bit about teams that we'd like to face in the playoffs and teams that we'd like to avoid as fans, and who we feel definitely most confident about, and teams that we would definitely second guess our team and whether or not we want to face them. So let's start with teams that we'd want to play. You want to start?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Is this championship or just in the playoffs overall?
Say first draw.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, the Chargers win the division, get the first round bye. That's still a possibility, even though it may be slim. It's still a possibility. But where they're seated right now isn't a bad spot, especially if they're the 5 seed right now and they stick there, playing the 4 seed who is the Steelers. I honestly think that would be everybody's first choice is to play the Steelers.
They are playing a lot better as of late. I think they've won maybe 3 games in a row.
Yeah, but
And the offense is actually clicking with Rodgers, old man Rodgers.
But when the Chargers played them, there was you could tell that there was a really big separation between the two teams. Like there was a team that wanted to play a certain style, and then there was a team that was actually playing that style. And then
More sure
the Chargers.
Yeah.
That were the ones that were the bullies in the game.
You guys were playing in Steelers, huh?
I can't remember if it was that might have been at home.
It was at home.
No, this year you guys played them, but if you guys would play at the,
it would be
there. Yeah,
would that be a cold game or no? Or
yes,
snow game?
Yeah.
How are the Chargers in the snow? Not bad or what?
Well, they got the rain.
They're LA boys and they play in the dome.
Yeah.
So.
That's what I'm saying.
They're definitely not used to
they
2
play
games
the
ago,
snow?
they just played the second or third coldest game recorded in Chargers history. So that it wasn't snowing, but it was cold. So they got the
It still hurts when you get hit when it's cold.
Yeah, but they got the running back to be able to do it. And just like how you said, it hurts when you get hit. The running back sometimes were the ones that make the hit. So you think somebody's gonna want to be tackling Amari Hampton, 10, 15 times a game?
I mean, Tyler Warren he had a really good game versus the Lions too. So that game, I mean, I'll definitely be a good playoff game. It's gonna come down to the wire. Even though you guys already like spanked them, I would say, like I feel like the playoffs is not gonna be something like it's not gonna be a walk in the park.
No, but I think like I said, I feel like they have the running back, they have the type of coaching that they know when it gets into the playoffs, the type of game that they want to run, they want play. So with their offensive coordinator, as much as I've been down on him all season, he does put together a good running scheme. That's the one thing he does do well. So with that big bruiser of a back and him putting together a good running scheme, I think they'd be okay in the cold weather. And then the defense, the defense has been something that they've been able to lean on the last couple weeks, probably the last month or two. So that's usually what plays well in the playoffs is a good defense and a running game. So.
Yeah. So you feel pretty good about the Steelers then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If it wasn't the Steelers, anybody else you feel confident about? You got the Broncos, Patriots, Jags, Bills, Texans. Obviously, Bills and Texans, most likely you're not playing them first round, but just hypothetically.
Honestly, the Patriots, as good as they are, they're also playing a 4th place schedule, so they have been able to beat up on a lot of bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe they're still young enough, inexperienced enough to where make a couple of mistakes there that'll cost them big. So I think that'd be the number 2.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment. The Patriots are a good team, but you're right. They had the easiest schedule in the league by far, so they've benefited from a pretty easy schedule. But they've won some tough games. They beat the Bills,
yeah,
and then they were beating the shit out of the Bills, and then ended up losing the game. So I don't know, kind of a weird team.
I mean, the Dolphins beat the Bills, right?
Indeed.
So you see, those divisional games, you never know what's going to happen. They know each other so well.
Yeah. Well, for the Broncos side of things. I mean, I've already talked about the Jaguars, so I'll just kind of leave them out of this conversation, but wouldn't mind seeing them. Steelers, I think you're right. I mean, that's definitely a team that I would feel pretty good as a Bronco fan, the Broncos playing the Steelers. But another one, I'm sorry, Omar, I got to go with the Chargers. The way their track record in the playoffs, how they fall apart. We'll see week 18, but I think the Broncos, with that offensive line, the Chargers are trotting out there, and the Broncos pass rush, I think the Broncos are going to be able to get home quite a bit. They'll just have to contain Herbert from being able to squeeze out and drop 100 yards rushing on him, which the way the Broncos defense is playing right now when it comes to containing quarterbacks, that is a possibility. I'm not joking. I think Herbert might be able to run for 100 yards on the Broncos as long as they're not on 3rd and longs and just keeping drives alive and crushing the Broncos. I think they'd be okay. But we all know Herbert falls apart when the lights are brightest, so I feel pretty good. Broncos at home. Justin Herbert coming in with the noise. God, I hope I don't regret this later.
It doesn't matter.
If the Broncos lose to the Chargers in the playoffs, I'm fucking quitting the podcast, and I'm not kidding. I'm not coming up here the day after that
The
game.
noise does not bother Herbert. He gets the noise at home. He gets the noise on the road.
Yeah, you get that noise during the regular season. May not bother him, but in the playoffs, we all know he falls apart in the playoffs. And I'd feel pretty confident with the Broncos coming against the Chargers.
Even though that's Bo Nix's kryptonite there.
Oh, God, shut the fuck up. We've already talked about this.
Yeah. And he's lost more games to the Chargers than the Chargers have lost in the playoffs, that Justin Herbert's lost in the playoffs. So explain to me your reasoning.
When did you come up with that one, and how long have you been waiting to drop it on the podcast?
Right now.
Nah, shut the fuck up.
Right now.
You were driving home from work one day, and you're like,
right now.
I can't wait to say that on the podcast.
Right now. No, not at all.
Oh, that's going to be so good. I can't wait to say it.
Could only wait his response.
But you're right. The Broncos haven't played the Chargers well. That's why I said it doesn't really make much sense for me to say it, but I'm going to say it because if there's one thing I'm confident in, it's the Chargers charging. It happens every year. And the Broncos being on the opposite side of it would be awesome. But if the Broncos do lose, and again, I'm quitting the podcast and probably killing myself. So let's just hope I don't regret it.
Let's hope he does.
Okay. IPAs and seltzers. Oh, wait, no. Teams we don't want to play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's do that real quick. My list is going to be pretty short, but number one team that if they were placed up against in the playoffs, especially being on the road, most likely, which one? You need a refresher on who you might be playing?
Yeah, why not?
Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Steelers, Bills, Texans.
Probably the Bills, because wouldn't have played them yet. So it'd be just, going off the tape. Not everything. Most of the other teams will have already played, except for the Patriots. But then we'll have something on them. This Bills team, especially, right now as it sits, I think we'd be playing in LA. So I was going to say the weather would be a factor, but it may not be.
Still going to be an away game.
Yeah, obviously. And even with the Bills, they travel really well. Yeah, I think that would be the one, just because the quarterback, Josh Allen, can take over a game at any moment's notice. Like, with his legs, with his arm, he literally wills his team to win whenever it comes to that, especially in the playoffs. We've seen it before.
I low-key see you guys being the Bills. The Bills have this year, they're just not like how they were last year. They're just not. I mean,
Their defense
they're definitely
good
still a solid team, but their offense is just not what they were last year. I mean, James Cook is going off, but the receiver-wise, and they're not even really using Kincaid or Knox either.
But the legs of,
I mean,
Allen,
he could definitely beat you.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter which way, legs, arm, he wills his team to win.
I still kind of see your defense just kind of just focusing on James Cook and him. I mean, yeah, of course, you don't just leave the receivers open, but there's nobody in as passing wise that you can honestly say oh fuck, that guy's gonna fucking burn this defense or whatever, But Josh Allen can make a play at any moment, so
Yeah, and that's what breaks down defenses.
Yeah.
You can have the perfect defense, everybody covered, but there's one person you don't account for usually is the quarterback, and if he gets out, then breaks everything down. That's when you get those broken plays, cornerbacks and linebackers coming off of their receiver and opening up the field for the quarterback, who sees everything in front of him as he's taking off. So that's what worries me the most, is him being able to take over a game.
Yeah. I was actually going to say the same thing. I've talked about it a little bit during the Broncos Jaguars recovery for me recap. But the Broncos have a really hard time covering those athletic quarterbacks, and if you think of an athletic quarterback that could just break your back, that's Josh Allen. So that would definitely be the team that I'd want the Broncos to avoid. But overall, I think the Broncos roster is better. But I could just see Josh Allen just taking over
To be honest,
and winning the game. So
to be honest with you, I can kind of see the Jaguars beating both of your guys' teams again.
we don't. Oh, fuck the Jaguars, man. I don't even want to talk about them anymore. They're done. Fuck them.
No, I honestly can't.
No, they're a good team. They're a good team. And if they catch the Broncos on a bad day, just like they did yesterday, then yeah, they could beat them. But I don't think the Broncos show up to a game against the Jaguars, especially them putting Pat Bryant in a fucking stretcher before the end of the game. I just don't see them showing up, not fired up, ready to kick their ass. So I hope they play the Jaguars. That's the number one team I hope they play.
And now to think about it, wouldn't it be mad if they played the Chargers played the Broncos? Because like I said, got their numbers, so I think that'd be a really good matchup.
Well, we'll see it.
Hopefully it happens.
18. It'll be a nice little playoff preview for sure.
If it has any implications,
It will either way, because even if the Broncos wrap up the division this week, then they're still fighting for the number one seed. So they'll be playing to win something. And then I don't know the Chargers situation when it comes to playoff seeding. Right. Well, obviously they'll be in the playoffs, but when it comes to seeding, I don't know if it'll be, moving from 5, 6, 7, 6, 7.
6, 7.
So I don't know. But both teams will have something to play for.
Yeah.
Regardless. It just may not be the division, but we'll see. Okay. IPAs and seltzers?
Yep.
Sweet. Start with IPAs.
IPA for me. He was out last week, came back big. Quentin Johnson matched his total of receiving touchdowns for last year at 8. He went over 100 yards, made 2 awesome catches. One, the touchdown he got was the one-handed catch in the corner of the end zone on a fade, and then another one down the sideline for a big 50-yarder. Yeah, Quentin Johnson, IPA to you, bro.
Okay. Yeah, he did have that great catch. So my IPA, I'm going to give it to Jaleel McLaughlin. When he touched the ball, he played really well. That's not necessarily why I'm giving it to him. He was inactive for like the majority of the season. Was pretty much just not playing on game days, not getting a jersey. For him to continue and play hard, and when he gets his opportunity, makes the best of it. I'd like to see it. Like Jaleel, seems like a guy you definitely want in your locker room, and he's been with the Broncos for a couple of seasons now. So Jaleel McLaughlin, IPA to him. Hope he gets more touches next week, and in the playoffs, and is able to really make his presence felt. So IPA Jaleel.
Yeah, so mine is obviously the elephant in the room. It's obviously going to go to Genty. Obviously, Bowers had a really RC Bowers had a really solid game as well. He had a really nice touchdown in the back in the end zone. He had a lot of solid catches, a lot of solid first downs, but Genty just had another monster game. It's the second game of going over 100 rushing yards. Unfortunately, of course, he should have had more, but our fucking shitty ass O-line. But I mean, with his O-line, he's already up to 850, I think, yards. I know it's over 800, but quietly might get over 1,000, but still having like a solid year with the Raiders, even though with a very struggling offensive line. But yeah, I paid for his really good game.
Yeah, he definitely had a good one. Okay, let's get into some seltzers.
Seltzers. I already said his name once. Junior, you get this seltzer. All the shit you were talking from like 3 weeks ago, saying that the Cowboys were going to beat up on the already beat up Chargers, that they were playing like 3rd, 4th, 5th string offensive linemen, that it wasn't going to be a contest. Well, you're right. It wasn't a contest, but the other way around. So take that seltzer, Junior.
Okay. Oh, man. For my seltzer, I meant to give it to the Jaguar fans that were talking shit because they got this win and pretend it was their Super Bowl. But I already went on that rant, so I can't really use it for the seltzer. Why don't we just go... You know what? Let's go with the boys in DNVR, because all last week they were talking about the Jaguars like they weren't a real team. and they said they weren't impressive. I think all of them, when they came to game picks, said the Broncos were going to win by like multiple scores. And they tricked me into thinking that the Broncos were going to kick the shit out of the Jaguars. Even though when we gave our picks early in the week last week, I said the Jaguars are a good team, and we're going to have to, play really well to keep up with them and beat them. By the time the game started, I was like, man, the Broncos are going to kick the shit out of the Jags. The guys at DMVR know what they're talking about. So DMVR, seltzers for you. But still, love you. But
Come check out their Thursday. You
Yeah.
might learn a thing or two. Just kidding. You won't learn anything here.
you'll learn all the things, man.
All
Like, don't
the-
get too
all the
damn
tech-
cocky.
All the technical difficulties, that's what you'll learn.
For my seltzer, obviously, like honestly, from the first couple of drives, I was like, oh, there's my seltzer, Gino, fucking throwing that pick six. But honestly, finishing like with the pretty solid stats. I mean, I would like I admitted earlier, really wasn't hoping for him to win, but he did have a pretty solid game. But the seltzer I'll give it to is going to be our rookie corner. He did panic on one play and got a PI. Unfortunately, that PI was BS. That ball was not catchable, but he should have never panicked and hold and grabbed him and everything. So I know he's done very solid since he started, but I mean that one play, like we could have got the ball back, hopefully not scored, but still got the ball back and got a chance to score. But in the end of the day, he made a mistake, rookie mistake. So he's gonna get his seltzer for the first time. Oh, did I say his name?
No, I'm winning. Who is
Oh,
it?
sorry. Fuck, I just had it.
Oh, bro, come on.
Caught you, Blue Kelly? No.
No, it wasn't Kylie Buchanan. It was Damien. It was our
No, that's not.
it was our
He's a
third
running
round
back.
pick or corner. Fuck, I just had it too before I said it. Damien Porter.
Damien.
Okay, Damien, you get
I
it.
say, bro, you lost your name too.
Sorry, bro. Like I literally like right before I said that, my head just fucking erased his name. I don't. But yeah, Damien Porter
Damien Porter.
or Darian Porter. Sorry, not Damien. Fuck, man.
Damon.
I keep just messing up his name. Next time I'm gonna call him Edgar.
We should get the seltzer on this one. Okay.
All right. Anything else we want to add?
I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to next week. 48 days until Bo Nix wins his first Super Bowl.
Can't
Cheers.
do it without being Herbert.
Cheers. Surprised he's still confident about that.